Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to be detectives and solve a mystery that happens right outside your window pretty much every single day. We're about to uncover the secret of the Great Water Escape.
You've totally seen this, right? One minute there's a big puddle on the sidewalk, and the next, poof, it's just gone. It looks like it just vanished into thin air. But it's not magic, not at all. That water is actually just starting an incredible invisible journey.
So, this amazing disappearing act is our very first clue. It's got a cool scientific name you might have heard before, evaporation. And this is step one in the Great Water Escape.
Okay, so here's the secret. The water doesn't actually disappear. Nope. It just changes its disguise. It goes from being a liquid that we can see and splash in to an invisible gas called water vapor that just mixes in with the air all around us.
So let's zoom in and see what's really going on. Imagine the sun's heat is like a superpower for all those teeny tiny water particles. It gives them so much energy they start wiggling and bouncing around like crazy until, whoosh, they can break free from the puddle and float up into the sky. They've escaped!
And once you know what to look for, you see this process happening all the time. I mean, think about it. The water that vanishes from your wet shirt on the clothesline, that's evaporation. Your hair drying after you get out of the pool, yep, evaporation again. And all that steam rising from a pot of boiling water, that's just evaporation happening super, super fast.
But you know, what goes up must come down. The story doesn't end there. Our escaped water particles don't just hang out in the air forever. Their journey has a second part, and it's all about coming back home.
Okay, so condensation is basically the reverse of our little magic trick. As that water vapor floats higher and higher, the air gets colder. And when those super energetic water particles lose their heat, they slow right down and start to huddle back together. They turn from an invisible gas back into tiny, visible drops of water.
And just like evaporation, you've seen this everywhere. You know when a cold can of soda gets all wet on the outside? It's not leaking, that's just water vapor from the air cooling down on the cold can and turning back into liquid. Or how about when you can see your breath on a cold day? That's the water vapor and your breath condensing into a mini cloud right in front of you.
So let's just lay this out, side by side. It's pretty cool. Evaporation, that's liquid turning to gas, and it's all about adding heat. It makes water disappear. Then you've got condensation. That's gas turning back into liquid, and it's all about cooling down. It makes water reappear. They're perfect opposites, two sides of the same amazing coin.
Now, all these little examples from your kitchen or a cold drink, they're actually a tiny mini version of a huge process. I mean, the same exact cycle is so powerful it runs the weather for our entire planet.
Okay, so here's the big picture. First, the sun's heat evaporates water from oceans, lakes, rivers, everywhere. And get this, every single day, the sun evaporates about 1 trillion tons of water. That's a mind-blowing amount. All that water vapor rises up, and high in the sky where it's cold, it condenses into billions of tiny droplets. And that's what forms clouds. When the clouds get too full and heavy, that water falls back to Earth as precipitation. You know, rain, snow, or hail. And then the whole thing just starts all over again.
So, now that you're in on the secret of the Great Water Escape and its return trip, you can be a science detective right in your own home. Seriously, the clues are everywhere.
And this is the coolest part. You don't need a fancy lab or a white coat to see incredible science happening. When you see steam coming off a pot, you're observing evaporation. When you see dew on the grass in the morning, you're observing condensation. You're basically a field scientist, and your lab is the world right around you.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, science isn't just in some boring textbook. It's in every drying puddle and every foggy window. So I have a challenge for you. Go on an investigation. Look around your house, your backyard, your neighborhood. What other examples of evaporation and condensation can you spot? The world is just packed with these awesome scientific mysteries waiting for you to solve them.